Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. Not your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. Welcome back. Found this short collage of videos on the GOP War Room channel on YouTube. I thought it was very interesting. Let's just show a couple, and then maybe we'll pause and do some commenting, because the situation in Afghanistan is just, it's not going to solve itself. And the corner that the Biden administration is painting himself in, I don't see a way out for him that comes out any good at all for the Americans that are there and the American people in general. Let's just watch a couple of clips here.
There are no indications that President Biden is going to address the nation on the situation unfolding in Afghanistan.
It's a calamity playing out hour by hour on television.
Quote, the likelihood there's going to be the Taliban overrunning everything and owning the whole country is highly unlikely.
Where is the president? You know, why isn't he communicating?
Where is the president? No, I wish somebody would do. My channel isn't really big enough. I wish they would start coming out with some photos. For those of you that remember the old Where's Waldo things, where they would show a big bunch of like cartoon animated characters in a huge crowd, and Waldo was stuck in the middle, and you had to find him in the crowd. It was called Where's Waldo. I'm not sure if that's still popular or not, but it used to be. Somebody would come out and get a whole bunch of, we'll say, head and shoulder shots of a whole bunch of politicos in Congress, in the Senate, talking heads on CNN, you know, that kind of thing. Put them in a huge crowd and put Biden's head in there and call it, Where's Joe?
Still no word from President Biden today. There are many who are asking, where's the president?
I think he's been wrong on nearly every major foreign policy and national security issue.
Where's Joe? Now, see, this is a picture of the helicopter coming onto the roof of the embassy in Kabul in Afghanistan. Now, I'm old enough to remember when Vietnam fell and Saigon fell, and there was the picture of the people going up the ladder, huge amounts of people going through the embassy to get out. It was the exact same thing. And here we are, almost 50 years later, just a little bit short, half a century, we're right back at it again. Whether you hate Donald Trump, like Donald Trump, or somewhere in the middle, this is what happens, folks, when you vote instead of for somebody, you vote against somebody. There's a whole ton of Biden voters out there that'll say, I didn't vote for Joe Biden. I didn't vote for him. I voted against Trump. I voted against Trump. I voted against Trump. I did the right thing. Trump was a disaster. Things would have been a lot worse. Okay, barring a nuclear exchange, I can't think of things could get worse, frankly. I mean, it's amazing to me. And we have to ask ourselves, who really is the president? Supposedly he signs all the papers. You know, he's the legal president. I saw him get sworn in, all that good stuff. But I guess the question, instead of who's really the president, who's in charge? Who's making the policy? Who's making the decisions? We know it sure as hell isn't Vice President Kamala Harris. That we know. Who is it? Is it the intelligence services? Is it some small group of faceless, unelected progressives? I don't know. Who is running the biggest economy in the world, and who is directing the strongest military in the world? I don't know. I simply don't know. Maybe someday we'll come out. Let's continue.
Question on the public response. A new poll out today shows.
Now, he's getting some brutal questions here. And he's got that smile on his face. You know, it's okay to be friendly. I get it. I'm not putting the guy down. He's been looking pretty solemn the last few days. I mean, the last 2 or 3 times he's came out in public, he's taken no questions, and now he's just taking questions from people he prearranged. I like the books in the background there. John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, and it goes down the list of the presidents. I wonder what that is. I'm a presidential history geek. I would love that. Of course, I like to go a little earlier, even though I was a big John Kennedy fan as a boy. I remember when he died, my mother told me, I don't remember, but my birthday is on the 16th of November, and I believe he was killed on the 23rd of November, and I told her that I just had turned 7, and I told her that him getting shot ruined my birthday, even though it was a week before. I don't remember, but that's what she told me. But anything, I would say, after Herbert Hoover, I'm not really interested, even though I was a big Reagan fan. It wasn't at the time when I was a Democrat, but I am now. But anything after Herbert Hoover, I'm interested, but I don't mean to digress too much. Here is it's creepy. It's creepy. There's nothing wrong with being friendly and smiling. That's fine. I understand. But this is creepy as hell. Let's listen to his reaction to the question about how the American people have basically lost faith in him, period.
Americans wanted to withdraw from Afghanistan, but they disapprove of the way you've handled it. A poll also found that based in part on what's transpired in the last week, a majority of Americans, and forgive me, I'm just the messenger, no longer consider you to be competent, focused, or effective in the job.
Now, you notice, forgive me, I'm just the messenger. I don't know who that is, what agency he represents. But can you imagine Jim Acosta going to Donald Trump? I'm sorry, I'm just a messenger here, Mr. President, but you're a piece of blank. Sorry to say that, but people are saying it. And sorry, Mr. President, I'm just a messenger. You colluded with the Russians and you're a traitor to your country. Just saying. It's like the old joke about, the old Italian guys in New York City years ago, and one says all kinds of horrible things about the other one's sister. He goes, hey, it's not me, I'm just saying, Oh, God, let's listen to the president's reaction, because this is creepy as hell.
I haven't seen that poll.
It's out there from CBS this morning. What would you say?
Yeah. It's out there from CBS. And he shakes his head. What the hell does he know? What are they shielding him from? It's the polar opposite of Donald Trump. Those of you who didn't like him, at least you know where he stood. And you might not like where he stood, but at least you knew. And maybe he was too transparent, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I don't know. Fact of the matter is, I don't know. This is a story that's connected to, he's out of touch with reality. He's telling everybody that anybody with a American passport, credentials, green card to come to the States is being allowed in the airport, and we're transporting them out. As time goes on, we're getting more and more out, and it's not a big issue. Well, listen to this.
They've also, the Americans have closed all the gates access. There is no access to the airport at the moment, except through one British access point called Camp Barron, which is on the outskirts of the airport, where people are processed there and then moved into the airport once they've been cleared to fly out. Now, that has been the case now for many hours.
Mr. President, what about ISIS and the threat that Americans face now?
And there's his reaction to questions. Questions about what the hell's going on. And I managed to get the audio of the official statement from Jen Psaki. Remember her? She decided to go on vacation for these few days or become unavailable. They probably had the third in order press secretary, but you don't need a press secretary if you don't tell people anything. And here is their official statement from the Biden administration concerning the the fiasco in Afghanistan. And there you have it, the official statement from the Biden administration. I'm telling you, it's this is bizarre. But I do have to say, though, I can see the Democrats' strategy, at least in part. They are so in over their heads, and they effed up so badly, they don't know what to do, so they go back to what worked for them. And that was last year, during the presidential election, where they used the excuse of COVID. They knew that former Vice President Biden at the time couldn't handle the rigors of the campaign trail, so they stuck him in his basement, as they say. He did all the interviews out of there, where it can be controlled. And even then, he still screwed up, but that's besides the point. Basically, hiding from the American people while you're running for president didn't seem like a very good strategy, but it worked. We won't go into the details of the election because YouTube is killing me already, and that's just the way it goes. But, so what else do they know? Let's just hide. You know, it's kind of like a 2-year-old or 3-year-old putting their hands over their eyes. In other words, they think, well, you can't see me because I can't see you. We'll just hide, and you can't see me, and you can't criticize me. It's amazing to me. And then they put out the talking heads to go on all the morning shows and the social and mainstream media. Again, sorry for my voice, but my allergies are kind of kicking my butt. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I know they're between a rock and a hard place, and that place was of their own making. But here you are, when you're back to our president, and the mainstream media and 95% of the people in that room are the ones that got him elected. Let's tell the truth here. And the social media tech monsters help with the rest. And now when things are tough, when they really screwed up, I mean, instead of just owning up to it and get it over with. Yep, I effed up. I made a huge mistake. I should have started pulling people out first as I saw the Taliban was advancing. And they controlled, God, this is in July, I believe. They controlled huge parts of the country except for the capital, Kabul, and a couple other small spots. And they were gaining territory. His intelligence service didn't know. Maybe his intelligence service did know and didn't tell the president. Frankly, if that's the truth, at minimum, they all should be fired. At maximum, they should be up on charges, if there is any under federal statute. What did the president know? When did he know it? They used that when Richard Nixon. I remember when I was a teenager in high school during the Watergate. What did a president know, and when did he know it? I don't think this guy knows what's really going on in the real world. They've got him in this bubble. And so there he is, our president. I talk to a lot of people here locally. I live in upstate New York. I'm involved in local politics. I used to be a local elected official as a city councilman in the early 2000s when I was a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat anymore. But politics I've always loved since I was a kid, so I talk about it with anybody that will talk about it. And the Republicans and many Democrats all say the same thing about what's going on in the last few weeks. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. It's such a screwed up situation. And there doesn't seem to be an end game. They painted themselves in the corner. They've dealt themselves such a horrible hand. Talk about unforced errors. Yeah, there was going to be a vacuum. It was going to get filled by the Taliban after the Americans left. But the fact of the matter is, they owe neocons, the Republicans, half of them love war. The Democrats, almost all of them love war now. And they're not going to be in a war anymore over there. We've been there 20 years. Where all there are people that make billions of dollars in profit off of war. Where are they going to get the money to give to their campaigns? The Democrat Party label, or their brand, I should say, is in shambles. Absolute shambles. And everybody's going to say, well, you know, John, Trump screwed up the Republican brand pretty good, too. No, and half of it he did, half the neocons. I mean, both the parties are going through some major metamorphoses, but I think the Democrats are in a lot of trouble. Now, do I take joy in the fact as a Trump supporter, now Republican, that the other major party in the country is just in the toilet? No, because I think two major parties, both strong and influential, forced compromise and working together, and I think that was the way the founders set up the system. But Republicans are much better, but they're getting there. They're starting to learn. They're starting to fight back because Donald Trump taught them how to do that. And I don't know what's going to happen. I can almost guarantee the Republicans take over the House next year. But what damage will be caused since then? We're only 6 months into this presidency. We have almost a year and a half to go before the midterms and almost 3.5 years to go before the next presidential cycle election. How many presidents are we going to go through in the next 3.5 years? Who the hell knows? It's starting to look more and more like a banana republic, and that is not healthy. Even if it isn't a banana republic, the world's thinking this way. Our NATO allies are furious. They were mad at Trump because they didn't like his personality. But now, privately, I'm sure they're saying, my God, what did we do? What did we do? We went after President Trump relentlessly, and all the European papers, all the interviews with American press, all we did was badmouth the guy. All the mainstream media is going with their mouths open, going like, what the hell? You know what's funny? I think the mainstream media right now is thinking, and social media monsters are thinking the same thing. I think it's an old Aztec or an Incan saying that says, when the gods want to punish us, they answer our prayers. And I think that's the spot they're in now. So there you have it. There is the answer to the American people concerning Afghanistan. Turn and walk away. Not my problem. And as all my friends say, I don't know what to think. Until the next time, goodbye and good luck.